2 minutes to go.
2 minutes? No, we're 4:45, Jose.
Oh, I asked you what I wanted to ask you.
Oh, okay.
I just need to sign.
How you doing, Jose?
How are you? Sorry, we were just over there just having our own little world
Just me?
conversation, weren't we?
I sign right there?
Okay, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is 4:45.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got members present and accounted for, everybody. Community comments.
Somebody's volume's on.
Miss Anita Tucker.
Not here yet. She probably thought she was coming for open session. Maybe not.
Did she maybe?
I think there's only one. Oh, I'm sorry. This comment's on closed session. Just, I don't know if she wanted closed session or she want open. They both want closed. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll then. So Anita's not here. How about Tanya? Let's start with Tanya and then we can circle back to Anita.
Circle back. Okay, Ms. Pasaki.
Good evening, board members and cabinet. I would like to speak on a few agenda items tonight. As many of you have heard from CSAA members emailing you, and they're kind of asking me, like, why don't we ever get a response? We don't see any reactions to our comments or emails that we send to the board. There's never any discussion and public comments. And my answer to them is I get the same feedback, nothing. So even teachers say, well, why don't you reach out to the board? Still nothing. Or people don't show up to meetings, and if a no-show is a no vote. I just want you guys to be mindful that everybody, the community and staff of the district are watching. First item, 2.3, is a discussion issue. Where are the details? Why is this only a closed session issue? Many of our members and members of the BVTA believe that this is the Director of Risk Management and Safety position that's being created specifically for one person in mind. We ask that you consider the appointee with care, given that they will be responsible for overseeing, directing campus security, and overseeing every employee, long-term illnesses and leaves, benefits, and workers' comp. Item 2.7. The classified personnel would like to know why there is a need for this position. What will the purpose of this position be? What are the duties of this position? Please define what the specific of special assignment will be. Does this position come with additional pay? And the most important question is, who is the employee that will be appointed to this position? Will we know? Will we now be forced to contract out again to cover the current duty of the person appointed, essentially paying double for the work? This is a serious concern for CSEA, as it appears that they are pushing out the current superintendent and giving somebody preferential treatment. It appears that we are appointing an intern superintendent and just playing word games and calling it something else. Why are these issues being discussed only in closed session? These type of sneaky actions do not build trust among employees of the district. I am asking that the board seriously consider the repercussions of appointing this position. We have had numerous reports that classified staff have reached out to the board with no response. Are our voices being heard? Is the board listening to the employees that you are appointed to protect and represent? We have united in our demand for change, and we ask that you join us in uniting for change within this district. We all see their problems and concerns, and we're speaking publicly so the community can see the problems and concerns of this district, and we hope that you guys are taking it seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Anita.
Perfect timing.
Good afternoon, board members, Dr. Williams, Executive Cabinet, students, educators, and community members. I wanted to address two things. First, 80 students at Sims will be attending a special performance of Hamilton on Wednesday, February 16th at the Pantages Theater. I want to thank the district, Dr. Yee, Dr. McNally, for working so hard with me to make this happen for our students. Today I found out that we will get additional chaperone tickets for this event. Dr. McNally and I would like to extend an invitation to our board members to attend, as well as our executive cabinet. I think the students would truly enjoy having the opportunity to experience this incredible performance with you, get to know you all better, as well as allow you to get to know them a little better when they experience this performance. Please let me know as soon as you can if you would like to go so I can secure space for you. Secondly, as one of the famous lines in Hamilton goes, history has its eyes on you. Tonight you will be making decisions that have strong, long-lasting effects. You have many things to consider, and the most important one is to ensure that whatever you decide benefits students, benefits your staff, and benefits our communities and families. We have needs for staffing for next year. 30 teachers and certificated personnel, over 40 classified staff that we know of right now. There will be more. Our students deserve to have the very best individuals working with them, and we need to start now to ensure this. Additionally, we have a difficult job to fill the shoes of our present superintendent. I hope that you will work diligently to conduct a search quickly so that we will have someone here to make a smooth transition. I hope that VVTA as well as CSEA and our students will have a voice in this important decision. As we teach our students every day, they need to make good choices, good decisions, and be able to justify them. And when all is said and done, that they know they did the right thing. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Anita?
Can I get a motion to go into closed session, please?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a vote? Ms. Dew?
Yes.
Ms. Edmondson?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Mr. Castaneda?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well.
Anita, thank you for the card. You remembered my birthday?
think we're still on, are we ready to go live yet? Just give me the green light
It still
whenever you're
says
ready.
closed
You go
session.
to
Hold on,
Noel
just one
first
second.
Since he has a meeting to go to?
We're good? Okay.
I want to talk to her real quick. Or Jackie real quick.
Sure.
Ron and Jackie real quick.
Are we live?
That's a
I
good
think,
question.
are we, oh, we are live. Okay, great. Okay, let's go ahead and motion to come back. And then second is Jose, and then can I get let's do a vote. Barbara?
Barbara? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Penny?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Castaneda?
Aye.
Mr. Barrios? And I vote aye as well. All right, let's 3.1, we're going to call this order to session. 3.
Session to order.
Thank you.
I thought it was fine.
It was great. I was just going to keep rolling with it. Members present, everybody's present accounted for. Let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Rubalcaba, would you, oh, he's not in here. Dr. Williams, would you be so kind to lead us in pledge? All right, there you go.
Okay, here we go. I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
And probably if we,
Oh, okay, sounds good. Okay. We're gonna go 3.5, approval of agenda. Can I get a motion?
some, second?
Vote, Ms.
Aye.
Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonston?
Yes.
Mr. Castaneda?
Aye.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So moved, okay. Let's see, and what we're gonna do at the latitude of the
going
board
down.
is we're gonna go ahead and move up the public hearing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
7.
Presentation 5.1. So Milt, if you'd be so kind.
Good evening, board members. Oh, it's on. We have, I know they're bringing up a presentation.
Chris?
So where is that here?
It should pop right up, I think.
So we're here to have another, thank you, there we go. Public hearing on the maps. Go to the next slide. If you recall, we're going through this process again because the district is by trustee areas, are required to evaluate and adjust the boundaries on the existing map in the event adjustments need to be made. Next slide. Need to be completed on or before March 1st, 2022. Next slide. This just shows at the middle of the page that the district is out of compliance, a variance of 19.7. Go to the next slide. This shows the Hispanic Latino community by way of concentration. Next slide. This, again, just lists with the new 2020 census data, kind of the demographics of your individual district. We've kind of been through this multiple times. Next slide. This is your current trustee area map. Next slide. This is your present data here with your present configuration. Next slide. All right, so we get to scenario 1 and go to the next slide, which is the zoom in. There we go. Okay, so when I was last here, the board and the community had several requests. One of them being to maintain the original colors and numbers from the original underlying map. I think we corrected that on the versions. The other request of the board was to attempt to have at least a school site in each trustee area. That was one of the other guidances that the board provided. I think we achieved that in all 3 maps. And then the final issue that was raised by a community member that was seconded, if you will, by the board was in the event that there needed to be a population change, which we know there has to be because the growth was disproportionate, that we try and eliminate or if not reduce the amount of people who would have to go from being able to elect someone this year and then not being able to elect a governing board member until 2024. And so these three maps reflect those principles. I'll tell you right now, of course, we couldn't wholeheartedly meet the last one, keeping all of the people in areas in which they would elect on the same cycle. It just wasn't achievable given the way that the population needed to be balanced. But the demographer took their best efforts to try and really limit and reduce the impact of doing that, which is why you see different configurations. We did really try best efforts. But of course, the primary constraint here is population balance, and where you can take the population from, unfortunately, sort of dictates that you're going to have, a certain population of people that occurs. So we have scenarios 1, 2, and 3 that again are here for the board's feedback and community's feedback, and for me to take any questions. I know the board also asked previously for the minor streets to be reflected upon the borders. We tried to do that to the best of our abilities as well, so that at least on the borders between the trustee areas, you would know what the streets are that are encased within that border. And so all of them, as we discussed before, as we've looked through before, go through the next slide. If you see the scenario 1, the variance is in the 4s. Go to the next slide. Skip again. Again, this just shows, there we go. This just shows, again, the efforts we made to comply with the guidance of the board. If you go 2 slides, or 1 slide away from this one, 1 slide up, there we go. You see the variance, again, even with the changes that the board requested that we implemented, the variance is beneath the 10% threshold. If you go about 3 other slides, please, to get to the demographics for scenario 3, there we go. You'll see that the variance is in the 4s as well. So all 3 of these maps are legally compliant. And with that, I will stop talking and address any questions that the board has.
I think this round is great. I'm good with any of the 3. It's up to you guys.
So could I propose
Yeah,
maybe?
I like 3.
3, okay. Barbara?
How come you like 3?
Well, it doesn't make any difference. Mine
That's my lucky number.
basically kind of
On
the
October
same,
3rd.
but
Which one do you
I don't
prefer?
have Spring Valley Lake.
Are you free?
Yeah, that goes
No.
over,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
young
good on all of them.
which is fine because it'd be better for them to go from your area to my area because they wouldn't lose an election cycle that way. As opposed to going from because you're not up for re-election, so if someone had moved from my district to yours, that would sort of disenfranchise them for a little bit.
They go across the street. That's the hard part about this.
The only part I lose is the Spring Valley Lake
Yeah.
area. That's what I lose.
So why did you like 3, Jose?
Because I like it, I like the boundaries. They're the closest to what it was the last time.
3.
Yours basically the same, isn't it, kind of?
Yeah, with a couple of little tweaks, but other than that, it is the same.
How about you, Penny?
So
I'm okay too,
I will go
so.
with whatever you
can
guys want.
can I
So
make
3,
it
3.
looks like 2 and 3 are almost the same map for
No,
you.
they're not.
Well, the biggest variance is 3. It's 4.8.
2, if you really want to get picky about it, 2 goes all the way out to Adelanto and goes all the way to Hook Boulevard.
2. Aren't you 3?
I am 3.
Well, I was sort of thinking if we went with 2, because the maps are pretty much the same. I was thinking if we went with 2, it only has a 3.7% variance. So maybe 10 years from now, we might not have to do it all over again.
Well, we're talking.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
It
It's way-
always-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Fires will
requirement.
go
You
like
have to go through
crazy.
the process again
Yeah.
and then reassess and see how the numbers play out.
Even like the politicians.
Okay, do we have, we might have a majority. What do you want, Barbara?
Well, hold on just a
Oh,
second.
apologies.
Yes, I just want, this is just the public hearing.
Oh, great.
Yes,
Not
the
a-
actual vote for the
Not
map
voting.
is the next board meeting, so I just wanted to,
I think these are all great. I think we can decide on one of them for sure.
okay.
Yep. Any other questions, guys, for Milt? So I know you have another board meeting to get to, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we're good to excuse me. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Milton.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we can go ahead and shift back to 4.0. We're going to go for public comments. Dr. Williams would be so kind to read the monologue there.
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Or Jackie, it don't matter, whichever one's
Okay.
easier, it doesn't, okay.
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request for address, a request to address the board card prior to the meeting, and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak after doing, either doing the public comment section or the agenda or before the particular agenda items. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce their name before beginning their presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allotted a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes, if substantial number of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony will be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board actions may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such item be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected by damage, claims for slander. Public charges or allegation may result in legal actions being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in a democratic process.
Thank you, Dr. Williams, I appreciate it. And just in light of the things that happened last week, we will stick to the 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, so that way it's nothing personal or anything, it's just we'd like to stay with that, just to stay fair and equitable for all, okay? So we're gonna go first, I think Hernandez, last name? Ms. Hernandez?
Hi, my name is Edith Hernandez. I work at Hook Junior High. Wanted to talk about a few things, concerns. We are in need of day janitors. I know last time you guys talked about night janitors, but today, for instance, we had a special needs student who put menstrual blood on the wall. And so our janitor was very busy with the other bathrooms, and we have to lock them up at times, which creates a lot of office traffic with students that need to use the restroom. I myself cleaned it, put gloves on, and cleaned it up. So it's just, we really need support in the day. As we are, right now, the janitor is a sub, so there's nobody else. So we really do need at least one other day sub. The counselors are in tears. They have a heavy, heavy workload. They said they've been asking for another counselor. We have a lot of students that might want to hurt themselves, so that could take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours for a counselor, and then they still have their whole, day agenda, plus schedule changes, new students, and we have a high rotation of students coming in and out through our school. Also, fights is a big thing. We did get more security, which we are very happy with because we really needed it. Let's see, the janitor, so food. I'm getting so many kids, they hate the food. Unfortunately, they don't want to eat, they don't want to drink, they're dizzy, so they will not eat or drink, and they're dizzy. And so it's just concerning. If we can do anything to change that up, that would help. Bilingual, I know that I talked about it before, but I know that they need them in the classrooms, which is true, it's great. But we also need them in the office. So we have one right now currently, but if she's out, it's me, and I get the traffic of parents that know I speak Spanish. They call me in my line automatically, and I'm not going to tell them, I can't take your, I don't care about your information. That's not okay. So we have to be supportive, utilize our people on sites, and, pay them the stipend and get them to go ahead and talk to the parents to diffuse situations. And that's what I'm really, also I need some ambu bags, if that's possible. If I was to have to do CPR, I would like to preferably do it with an ambu bag. So, thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
Risk management should always do.
Okay, is this, I think it says Tanya, or, is that Tanya Mack? Is that right? Is that you?
Tanya Martin.
Tanya Martin?
Address on file, is CSCA, is this for, did you already do this one?
Put it on the bottom, she wants to speak at the end.
Oh, at the end, you got it, will do, my apologies. No worries, no worries. I don't have my glasses on either, I should probably do that. John White, I think I've got my glasses, let me grab mine.
I'm John White, Campus Security, Silverado High School. I just wanted to ask about one or two things. I've been noticing that the board is considering putting 2 campus security per site. I don't know if you guys have considered that we have a lot of campus security that's going to retire at the end of this year. So that number that you're putting up there is not going to work for us. There's some of us that we've had 1 officer out since the beginning of this year. We've had her sub leave in late October, early November. No one's came to help us. There's days that there were working, 4?
I've done 3 days. 3 people for
3 days? For days, weeks. And there's another thing that we just really need the help right now. And if we would have had the subs there ready to go, especially for our last co-worker, we wouldn't be down with it. So I'd appreciate we get some type of help. And we can't have probation. You can't count probation as part of security. That's not what they're there for. And I know we don't want to consider some of our kids as problem kids, but that's exactly why you have probation on the campuses for. They're there to continue the monitoring of certain kids that are on probation or mandates of the court. So they can be monitored during the day before school, during school, after school. That's what they're there for. So they're not there to do truancy, do SARB. That's not their job. We need a truancy officer. That's what they're supposed to be doing. I know we like to try to, with security, we want to do this, and then, oh, yeah, you can help us with this. Go open this door. This teacher's not in. Or go open that door. Well, while we're running around opening doors, there's a fight over there. There's a fight in the bathroom. But why? Because they're not giving the teachers, the subs, the keys to let themselves into the classroom. They're district employees just like we are. Why can't they have a site master key to get in the classroom? If they're going to suffer today, they should be able to let themselves into a classroom. It's just extra work for the 4 or 5 people that you have on the campus at any given time. And for a high school over, 2,500 kids, and you have 4 security, and then most of the time you have 1 security regulated to the front gate, so you really have 3. Because the 4th is not supposed to leave the front gate. So we need to rethink of how we're doing things there. It's not feasible to have 1 security officer at the front gate, then that throws out your ratio. He can't be counted in your student security ratio because he doesn't leave that front gate.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, Mr. White. Okay, Mr. Brooks.
Hello, everybody. Robert Brooks, security at Silverado High School. As I was reflecting upon what I said last time, I realized that I forgot to thank you guys for adding the additional security. We do appreciate that, and that will be a big help, and it's definitely going to help us move forward. Last week, you had a student in here, it was on the board with you, and that student was given the oath by our superintendent. And I reflected upon the time 24 years ago when I actually physically took the oath in the district office. I raised my hand and agreed to the same things. And I realized that I still believe in those things and I take them seriously. And that's why I'm back again, just to talk about those things and let you guys know that we love all of our students. And sometimes that's tough love, but it does come from that place. When we first took this job, when I first started, we had a lot of different kinds of problems that are they were worse than they've been in the last few years in the district. And then our job kind of shifted to more of a mentor role to mentor these kids and give them good advice and help them and talk to them and explain what's going on. And I can see it going back to the way it used to be. And I'm not going to, I don't know what caused it. I think being at home didn't help. But we will do anything we can to make our campuses safe. We need leadership to let us know what direction they want to head in, and we're ready to answer the call. We just need that information disseminated to us, and we need the help to move forward. These kids are in a very bad way right now because they're going through a tough time and they don't have the tools that they need to navigate the world in the way it is right now. So again, I'd like to say that we're all one team. Doesn't matter if it's the board, the superintendents, teachers, classified. We all have to stop worrying about the arguing of semantics and other things and just come together and help these kids be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Hill?
Oh, it's hard to come back from that one. Good evening, board. I'm here for a couple of different reasons tonight, and also for what Robert said. I don't think I can even say any more after that. We are here for the kids. And with that being said, a lot of the issues we have with the kids, I think we need to bring back truancy. We need a truancy officer that can help us get rid of some of these issues that we have going on. And I would like to see the dogs come back because we have a lot of issues with substance abuse. And like you said, these kids were sitting at home. I had a kid tell me because she was stressed. So maybe she is. I don't know. I don't live in her home. I don't know what's going on, but I do spend a lot of times when I deal with kids like that. Also, too, I would like to say that I think we need to bring an APEC, an African American Parent Advisory Council. I think we're the only school district up here who does not have one. I took part in this council last year with another school district, and I was the only high desert parent invited. And I think that might combat some of our issues, especially the ones that we have now are primarily with our African American students. Out of 86,000 students that went to jail last year from schools, 41% were African American students. And the only way to get away from that is that we need to combat poor educational outcomes, and that starts with school attendance and absenteeism. So we can consider bringing an African American parent council to our district and someone that can go out there and we can bring these ideas to our black families. I think it might help. It might be helpful because, like I said, I took part in it. I graduated from the Blue Foundations program, and it was excellent. It was excellent. They have a lot of programs and a lot of scholarships and a lot of programs that can help lead our kids to college. I had to do that myself. A lot of it, I can't give credit to our school counselors because as a parent in education, I knew what to do. I knew how to research, and I know what to do to make sure that my students who are scholars, who are in universities right now, they can tell you, they're their teachers. There's their security, nurses. They're really good kids. And they watch the board meeting, and one of my sons goes, "Mom, do I need to go talk to the board and let them know what the kids need?" They need staff members who are there every day. He said they need consistency. The reason why classes are in trouble is because they're substitutes. Students need someone they can go and talk to every single day when they have an issue. That means whether it's the nurse, the teacher, the security, the maintenance directors, anyone in the district office, all they need is someone to talk to. And a lot of times we can't get the kids to, like I was talking to Dr. Yee, to the health services because sometimes maybe they don't identify with him. So they'll come talk to security. They'll talk to me as a woman, or they'll talk to Robert as a man, or they'll talk to Miss Tucker, or even Miss Tanya when she walks on campus. Sometimes they need to see people like them. So if we can get an African American Parent Council, I'll be first to volunteer. I will, because I think we need that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Tanya Martin. Now that I put my eyeballs on, got it.
Got the name right this time, huh?
Got it
I'm
this
just going to
time.
speak about the last two, of course, my security is here again. I did receive a call from a board member this weekend that was upset regarding some of the comments that came across, maybe a little bit harsh last week. But I think it comes from passion, right? We're all overworked. People aren't showing up. They're burned out. I'll tell you, I've been at Goodwill for 3 weeks. That's where I'm stationed now. It's been the best 3 weeks, probably had in 2 years, because my job has been very stressful. But now I'm seeing another side of the story. Let me tell you what I've seen for the last 6 days. Before today, there was no security on the campus at Goodwill. Yesterday, there was a kid that was about to fight. I had to call. I was on the phone with one of my leadership team. I had to tell her, send somebody down to help. Send some men down to help, because these kids are going to fight. And I had one counselor that was about 5 foot standing in between the kids, and nobody else on the campus except teachers. So that's what the campuses look like. I'm in the mud now, and I see what these people are going through. How can a person is out sick or on vacation or whatever reason they're out, but there's nobody to cover these campuses. So kids are fighting. I'm out there with the counselor, and we're waiting for somebody to run over from the district office and help. And this is what these people are dealing with every day. 3 people on a campus that's how many thousand square feet? How are they supposed to do it? I had one security tell me the other day they were at Hook, and the kid was getting beat up, and they couldn't make it from one side of the campus to the other side of the campus because they were helping a fight over there. What is happening here? So those are the calls that I'm getting every night, frustrated. I know the budget is tight, but we got to make sure our campuses are safe. Now I'm seeing it for myself. So I don't know what we need to do. I know what the numbers used to look like. I know we're kind of moving in some kind of direction. But if we're about kids and we say we're about kids, then we need to do what's for kids. We can't talk the talk and not walk the walk. Because I know everywhere, no matter where you put me on a site, no matter where you have, I'm in the thick of the mud. Whether I'm answering the phone, if I walk in and my people need help, I'm going to answer that phone. If I'm walking on the campus is dirty, I'm going to pick up that trash. Because I'm not too good to do anybody's job. And some of you people up here need to do that job. I know the people that get in the mud with me, but I know some of these people up here that don't get in the mud. And nobody should be so high that they look low. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, so let's revert back. We already went through 5.1, so 6.1, public hearing. We have to have this. Oh, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. And then we'll have to at least let this run for a minute. Are there any comments on the boundaries from the public? I've got 6:58. Is that what you got, Jackie? Yeah. All right. It's going to be the longest minute.
Need some music from Jeopardy.
I'll cue it up next time. Next public hearing, I'll have
I
to
used
do
to have
that.
it on my phone, but I'll.
Yeah, just. All right, 6:59, closed. Okay, so 7.1, plan for superintendent search. This is an open discussion item. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. But, you want me to start?
No, I just had a procedural question. Do we need to take a motion on a discussion item?
Yeah, it's just information.
Oh, just kidding.
It's just information and discussion.
Well, it doesn't say that on here.
Hey, being thorough, man.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Yeah, so what usually transpires is we would, if Dr. Rubikova, if you could get us at least 3 firms to look at to,
What I would recommend to the board is you do an RFP, allow for companies out there, search firms to, give us a quote and a proposal.
perfect.
I'd be happy to initiate that. We can market it in whatever platform you like and see what the companies can offer, and then have companies come in for the board to interview and consider. The board will make its choice, and then the search would move forward.
I think that's great.
Could I suggest that we have new consultants or firms than what we've previously used, just to
Yeah,
give us
so-
a fresh perspective?
And that's why I think an RFP is important, because that would open it to all the firms in the state and beyond. And then all the firms would give in a proposal, and you all can choose who you want to interview to make presentations in front of the board, and then you can select whoever you'd like.
In the meantime, I know that for many educational positions, EdJoin, and EdJoin does include some superintendents, but isn't there another ed service?
So there's an EdCal.
Could you print out whatever positions are currently also being ran? So we would kind of have a feel for what's out there for
Yes.
competition?
And I can also suggest, some of the top search firms in the state. I can provide the board multiple names so that you can have an idea, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction on their websites. They can show you what searches they've done recently, how many superintendents they've placed, and a little bit about their consultants.
Thank you.
Now, does the county offer any kind of service?
They do. They would also have to put in a proposal. That would be my recommendation to the board. The county is one platform that can help with the search, but there are other search firms beyond the county.
I think
Because I remember-
CSBA has a
remember-
search
They
firm.
do as
I
well.
remember a long
as
time
well.
ago when we went to the big old company and spent thousands and thousands of dollars and ended up hiring somebody in our backyard.
That does happen.
Well, it's true. And-
Yes, that is accurate. There are multiple pathways the board can take. Search firm is one of them. You can also run the recruitment yourself, is another option. That's something that you consider. Like you said, instead of paying thousands of dollars, I would advise against that. Usually the search firms do a very good job of getting community input, putting out surveys. So we can do the RFP and see what comes in.
Yeah, I think we have options, and that way we can ask those questions at that
Yeah,
time.
we can, and then we can also interview them.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be happy to initiate that process.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, 7.2.
So the board has received information related to some options for the Human Resources Department. In that memo that I sent to the board, of course, the first option is kind of status quo. The current structure, the way we have it, is you have an assistant superintendent, an executive assistant to the superintendent, director of classified personnel, risk manager. The board previously approved an administrative specialist that we're going to fly the position. You have 3 personnel techs on the classified side. You have 2 personnel techs on the certificated side, and we have 1 office assistant 3. If you turn the page to the second side, this proposal includes the creation of 2 teams. So you would have an assistant superintendent with the executive assistant and the administrative specialist. But then on the other side of the house, it proposes a director of classified personnel. And instead of 3 personnel techs, this recommendation says keep the 2 that are in place, convert the other one to an office assistant 3, so that you have 2 in 1, just like the certificated side. You have, the proposal is have a director of certificated personnel, keep the 2 certificated techs, and then you have an office assistant 3. This proposal recommends removing risk management to under business services. If you go to
Could
the,
be under any, that move could happen under either scenario.
that move can happen under any scenario. That is correct. Okay.
And
The
and
first.
have you actually cost all this out?
So as far as costing it out, there would be an addition of a director on the certificated side for this scenario, but there would be a cost savings on converting the personnel tech to an office assistant 3.
Is the savings?
It's not a wash. This would still be at a cost. The only thing that you have to consider in this factor is that if you add the director of certificated personnel, it will more than likely result in a savings to the district because it would reduce the legal fees where we can do more of the investigations in-house, more of the discipline and the other tasks that are currently given to legal, freeing up a little bit of time for the assistant superintendent and having a larger team will probably result in a cost savings.
It looks like it would be more than one position. I mean, we're talking about the director over at certificated.
Right.
And a director for classified, a vacancy for administrative specialist, and an office assistant. So that would be 4 positions.
But those are not 4 new positions. So the director of classified personnel exists right now, okay? The office assistant 3 on the classified side is a conversion of a personnel tech to a lower classification, which is a cost savings. The only addition in this scenario is the Director of Certificated Personnel. Now, I would advise the board that it's a cost savings because you will reduce legal fees.
You have an administrative assistant already?
That
I
was
know
a-
Julio is down as a office assistant.
Right, so the board at the last meeting approved the administrative specialist already. That's not a new position at this time.
Oh,
Now, if you go to the next page, this is the third scenario. The third scenario will stay status quo and convert the Director of Classified Personnel to a Director of Human Resources that would do both sides of the house. It would help with the certificated side and the classified side. It would still convert the Personnel Tech to an Office Assistant 3. So this would actually be a net cost savings across the board. It is not a new position. It is the conversion of a current position to a lower classification and would create a cost savings. It's just a restructuring. So these are just ideas for your consideration, and we can have a discussion. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Who is it's using a position that we currently had, Director of Human Resources, and if I'm correct, that was formerly held by Darrell Bell.
No.
Was that
so-
the last person who was
No.
Director?
So what it is, Ms. Edmonston, is the Director of Classified Personnel will now be vacant, and it's converting that position to a Director of Human Resources that can help on both the certificated and the classified side.
But on page 3 of 3, the vacant Director of Human Resources, wasn't that once filled by Darrell Bell?
He was an executive director, but even under that scenario, when Mr. Bell was here, you still had the Director of Classified Personnel
Right.
in the merit system. What we're
Right.
doing is just using the merit system position that is now going away February 28th and converting it into one position.
You say it would handle both sides, so my question is, would it have to be a certificated employee who would fill that role?
So in the third scenario,
Yeah,
yes.
in the third scenario, I'm
In
sorry,
the-
yes. I
In the
should
third option, my recommendation would be a certificated administrator that can support the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources on both sides of the house, yes.
So that director level promotion opportunity just is gone for the classified bargaining unit, pretty much, is what that would result in.
Well, you can open it up to both. You don't have to have a credential necessarily to be a Director of Human Resources. You can open it up to both the classified management side and the certificated management side of the house.
And there is a lot of classified people that have higher degrees.
Yeah. But yes, that is correct.
and you would have to fill the vacancy office for the office assistant 3?
No, we would have sufficient space to house either scenario. We have sufficient space for scenario 1, 2, or 3.
And our 2 people won't lose the technicians will not
No.
lose any
No.
of their jobs.
That is correct. The
In
two
either
cla-
scenario.
Under any scenario, our classified personnel technicians will remain in their positions. We've already negotiated with CSEA. We reached a tentative agreement. We are in the process of negotiating the impacts and effects of the merit system going away. But we have finalized, the classified personnel techs are remaining in their positions. That is correct. There will be no layoff proceedings for any employee.
I mean, it seems like even under this current map, you see a lot of vacant. Oh, this is vacant, that's vacant, that's
Yeah,
vacant.
yeah.
Well, it's vacant because of the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Right, so I guess what I would say is, like staffing up, it just seems to me, I'm trying to plug this certificated side of the house and classified side of the house. So, you know,
Option 2.
yeah, so that, you know, if you got one vacancy and the human resources person is out for a few months because they quit or move on or whatever, now it's back to Dr. Ramiro having to do everything.
So in an ideal, in my humble opinion, I would love to have option 2. That would be a highly efficient human resources department.
I gotta say, I think that's the one that we want. I think it's the cleanest one. It keeps the classified and the certificated sides both with their own sort of special, unit. It keeps it where the promotion opportunities are there for both bargaining units. And it gives us a little flexibility in terms of, if someone doesn't, if the position becomes vacant, your whole house isn't vacant.
Yeah, it would still be one human resources department now, one
Yeah.
entire team, but like you said, with specific areas of focus. Yes, Penny?
Oh, go ahead, Penny.
Well, this position, the vacant Director of Certificated Personnel, we've already voted 3 times, I believe, not to have that.
But it's up to the board. I'm just presenting some options. Totally up to you.
Penny, I did request that he put
I'm
that
just,
in as an
I
option.
appreciate that, but we've voted 3 times, I think, maybe it's 4.
But never under these circumstances
It's
where the
at
whole
least
Up to the board.
department has to
And
be
the
restructured.
circumstances isn't the issue.
Yeah, I like number 2. I think number 2 is a good option.
So,
Barbara, which one do you like?
We're not voting.
No, I'm just saying, so we can
no,
put it
we're
on the
just
agenda.
talking about it right now.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
can put one option on the agenda.
I would like direction from the board. Now, what would happen is if you choose, if you recommend a certain option, then I would bring those positions and any other positions that we've talked about at the next board meeting on the personnel report so that you can take action and then we would run the recruitment. So this will still take time to do any option, but I would appreciate some direction from the board so that we can move forward. We have a very tight timeframe to put some things in place. And we have a heavy recruitment season coming up with the second year of the retirement incentive just around the corner. Recruitment needs to start as soon as possible.
Agreed.
So, you are actually right now making plans. You've sat down with the Personnel Commission so that you're going through this with CSEA to make sure that everything is being done succinctly.
That is correct, Barbara.
With CSEA,
We,
right?
we are negotiating with CSCA the impacts and effects of this decision that was reached of the election, and it has gone very well. Both teams have worked very hard in a short amount of time to make these things happen. We're meeting again, is it next week? The week after? The 25th, so that we can finish the process, and I'm optimistic that both teams are committed to getting it done. But this
So-
direction would be helpful.
So you're finishing it up on the 25th?
Yes.
And we don't have a director of certificate personnel.
Not at this time, that is correct.
No, we do not.
We do not.
And we do not have a director of classified personnel as well.
We have one right now, but there are changes that are coming because of the election with the merit system. Some changes are in place now, so that creates a vacancy at this moment in time. That is correct.
And who is the person that's administrative, do you have a person that's you have a vacancy for administrative
Right.
specialist?
If you recall at the last board meeting, I pleaded
Did we
with the...
vote for that?
You did.
We did, didn't we?
Yes, you did. And I thank the board because that's a classified position that my team desperately needed, and we truly appreciate that. Now we're going to start the recruitment. That's to support our classified team within HR. So thank you for that.
Can
So
you,
what you're
can you
saying
support
is
one of
if-
those, Barbara?
If there's,
Can you
if they
support
get
one
a
of the
director
options?
of certificated personnel, that would take care of the classified side and the certificated side, if I heard you right.
So under the third option, I think you're referring to, Jose, that is correct. Whatever the will of the board is, we're going to make it work. We always make it work. That's what we do in HR. These are some options that the board requested. We're having discussion around it. At the end of the day, you're going to give the superintendent and cabinet direction, and we'll go with the board wants. In my recommendation, a highly efficient human resources department that can get the job done is option 2. However, whatever the will of the board, we're happy to go in that direction. Just need to know what you would like.
Yeah, I think option 2 looks clean. I do. I think because you have both sides of the house, so that's opportunity for both classified and certificated
Correct.
to have attrition in a positive direction. So that's my opinion. I think it creates more equity, if you will,
Sure.
on both sides of the
And
house.
all of this has been cost out,
We would have to cost it out and bring you back to the board the
Yeah, would
correct
you-
numbers.
I'd
Right-
like to know the
yeah,
numbers
right
on
now
this.
preliminarily, I believe the director's position is about 197, let's say 200,000 with the benefits, if you look at the top of the pay scale. Of
Okay.
course, it may be lower than that depending on the person's experience and where you hire them at and so forth, but just say about 200,000, 600,000 per director's level position over 3 years.
I think option 3 is good because then you've got the person who could help in both capacities, certificated and classified.
I mean, to me, option 3 presumes that these positions will never become vacant ever again. If they do, suppose Dr. Ramiro gets a promotion to superintendent somewhere.
Okay.
Now you're asking a director of human resources to do basically the job that he's been doing. And that, trust me, he does a lot
Why
for our
wouldn't we-
district.
why
He deserves to
wouldn't
be
we backfill?
It's been
appreciated.
done many times.
Why wouldn't we
So-
backfill the position?
And
the
what
other-
if-
the
what
other
if
thing
that-
for the
you
board
might,
to
but-
consider is that we're looking at legal fees skyrocketing this year.
We know.
Okay, skyrocketing.
It is way up there.
Okay, and I'm
Lots of
talking
money.
major dollars. Having another person, another director, to help with some of those investigations, with some of the things that I just don't have time to do, is going to be a help and a cost savings, in my humble opinion, to the district to reduce legal fees. In my humble opinion, that position will pay for itself and then some.
And we're going to have a monster of a year of recruiting
In
because we
recruitment.
have so many retirements going on. And I think you staff up, you get these people in place, we can go out and have a bang-up year on recruiting and go forward from there. And I think it's not only the cleanest, it's just the one that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think we need to kick the can down the road, to be honest, but which one do you like? What
Yeah,
option do you
they
like?
did it. They did it when my class retired, and we had a whole bunch of people too.
What
Yeah.
option were you looking at? Do you like, Jose?
If I have to pick one, I would go with 3.
And you go 2?
I'm going to.
I go 2, 3. Barbara, you're the deal breaker here, tiebreaker.
But we're not voting now.
No, we're not voting, but we gotta
we're
give
not
direction
voting.
so
I
we
just
can put
want
it on
some
a personnel
direction so I can
report so
know.
we can
I
get
need
these things
direction.
hired.
He needs to know. He
He
can't
needs to
even
know, so
hire.
he's gotta
Well,
put them
maybe
on
we
there.
need to put 2 and 3 on and vote for either of those,
Yeah,
So-
we
as
could do
opposed to
that.
deciding
So,
now.
so I would hope to get direction tonight, because I would like to bring the positions themselves. Whatever decision you make, I understand and respect, and
Yeah, because what if we
we'll be
put 2
fine.
and 3 on the agenda and we
But I
pass them
think if we
both?
continue to delay this, it's just gonna prolong.
Well, he can't make a hiring decision because
Right.
whoever, he needs to know, okay, am I going to hire a classified
Right.
director, or am I going to hire a director of human resources?
Well,
He
that-
can't make that hiring
And
decision
by the
until we
time,
make the
and by the
call.
time we meet again next, it's gonna be already in March. March 15th is around the corner,
That's right.
and that's just, the iron is hot, and if we can make this decision now, we were gonna get the cream of the crop. We kick this can down the road, we're gonna be stuck with 3 or 4 people, we're gonna have to fire next year. So,
Well, that's why
Just my
I
opinion.
said if.
I'm just
if
being
I had-
honest though, I mean, because then you're
Yeah.
gonna get the bottom of the barrel, and that's
That's
Yeah,
why
we
I
wanna
said
start the
if we
recruitment.
had to pick one, of the ones, I don't like them, but number 3, since we've been promised that if we had this director of human resources, which I'm not gonna vote for, but still, that we wouldn't have to hire a classified director.
Why wouldn't you?
And I know what's gonna happen.
Well, I
In a
think-
year or so, we're gonna hire a classified director, so now
Yeah,
I'll have 2
because it's gonna
directors.
be a
Why
mess.
would you not vote for, because this human resources on option 3, it replaces the current classified personnel director. Why would you
Allegedly.
leave that department with fewer people?
Allegedly.
I just think 2 is the,
Sorry,
I think it's
okay?
the cleanest.
I've seen too many things where this was supposed to happen, and the offices, we didn't have 10 offices in this district a long time ago, and we had more students.
So I think we do have something here, because it sounds like we are in agreement. Why don't you put them both on the agenda and let's see where the cards fall on both scenarios?
So if I hear the board
Or not the
correctly-
agenda, but we don't, it's not even an agenda item, because we're
Right, it's
just,
not an agenda item, this is a restructuring, and typically that's
so
not
we have to
something the
come up
board
with
takes
some sort
action
of
on.
consensus. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
now
asking
would
for
be.
direction on who to bring. How
So-
can he bring anybody, anything?
Right, so Barbara, you're the tiebreaker for 2 or 3.
Well, I'll make that decision on that day.
Well, I know, but that's the
Whether it's
problem.
2 or 3.
We're not gonna have another board meeting, and March 15th is,
No, we're having a board meeting on the 28th.
28th, yes.
right, but
28th.
March 15th is only 2 weeks later,
So
but by the
Barbara-
time we get it
28th.
approved, it won't, it's
Barbara,
gonna.
are you are you saying he should hire both a classified director, a certificated director, and a director of human resources, and just tell them, well, the board will decide whether you get your job or not at the February 28th meeting? Is that,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what you?
right. That's correct.
That does happen. That does
That's
happen.
correct.
That's fine, that's fine. Listen,
Number 2.
I think that's a great idea.
so here's what I'll do.
I'm gonna vote for number 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Penny, I will buy you a dinner of your choice.
All right.
And it goes.
Thank you,
gotta go now.
Board of Trustees, for
There it
that
is.
direction. It is highly appreciated. At the next meeting, you can expect for us to bring the position, and then we will run the recruitment. Thank you.
You know, I'm super pumped up, man. I'm excited about this.
Make sure you cost that out for me, because I
Yes.
want to know how much money we're spending.
Yeah, we're doing it in reverse. We should cost it out first,
Number
then
2
vote
is
on
2
it.
directors.
100%. 'Cause I think
So
it's-
it's really
a
only
great
one
idea.
director, because we have a director classified.
I mean, I don't know.
Open
Wait, how's this gonna work? So, okay,
Build another office.
I know what you mean.
all right.
You don't know what we're doing.
I don't know what we're doing now. So 7.3 custodial staff.
We need them. Thank you for the work that they do. We need more.
We have, is it a slideshow, the update? Can I use the restroom real quick? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Call me up and it clears the room. What a guy. I feel
Well, they
so
were
honored.
security, huh?
Thank you guys for staying. I feel loved.
I'm listening, Richard.
We got to do a group hug. Virtual, right?
Anytime.
No.
Oh, we're waiting for Josh.
I didn't know we had an administrative specialist.
Let's go, Richard.
Keep an eye on him down again.
Okay, we're ready. We're ready. Sorry, apologies.
All right. Good evening, Board, Executive Cabinet, and those that chose to stay and listen. Thank you very much.
Glutton for punishment, right?
Happy things. Tomorrow's Friday. No. Okay, that's all I got. All right. Per the last board meeting, y'all had requested some additional information. This is the same, first 3 slides are exactly the same as I presented last week. So if we can probably, Chris, if we just go to the 4th slide. Barbara would probably like these, I'm assuming, because these are numbers. Some cost. So it was asked that we break down the cost by site, what we're currently costing out for custodial, what the proposed would add an additional cost, as well as what the total would be district-wide. It also, shows you that if you look at the spreadsheet there, you can see you got your current, your new, and the slide on the big screen, it's in yellow for the new stuff, the new positions. We're still going with, it still shows the 10 positions that were discussed last week. The biggest difference here is now we have dollar figures attached to those positions. Yes.
Mr. Bettis, could I just ask a question? How do you have a third of a custodian?
Well, they're a 3-hour custodian.
Hours work.
Okay.
You have
Yeah.
a sheet too. They gave
They
you a
cut
sheet,
their
a
legs
handout.
Yeah,
It's better.
I actually exploded the printout a little bit, so it's a little easier to read. So that's what a third is.
Okay, thank
They're
you.
not a third of a person, they're a whole person.
It's
We haven't
on
figured
here.
out a way to do that yet.
You have this
Aha,
at your desk.
I found it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What I do want to point out is that the overall numbers are all based upon a cost that should say range 26, not 28. Is that correct, Dr. Hawkins? That was a typo,
That's okay.
my fault on that. Step E, and that, $90,193.46 per position. That includes everything, all the benefits and what have you. So to add these 10 positions, you're looking at a total of just a little over $900,000 per year. So if you have any, yes, ma'am.
Dr. Hawkins?
Yes, ma'am.
Can any of our COVID money go for this? Since they're doing COVID cleaning, COVID sanitizing?
We can build positions into the funds. The challenge with that is when the funds go away, the position stays, so the general fund takes it up.
But
That's
also attrition. So it's at least something that could fund it
Yeah,
for
we
now.
could, you're correct, but we have some concerns about robust cleaning, and I would say if we're going to scale up, we need to make sure that the positions continue on beyond the funding. So.
That cleaning was needed well before.
No,
COVID.
I know, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we were lacking in that before COVID. So we had that need even before COVID. I went to a classroom that had been deep cleaned over the summer and looked like it never had been touched.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's a need for it.
So yes, again, to your point, we can use some COVID funds, and then when we get down the road, we'll look at repurposing. But we probably would have to put any additional positions in our plan to reallocate those dollars.
I'm thinking if we, and I mentioned this idea before, if we had a task force to sort of look at what are we spending our money on, because there's got to be some wasteful spending in a lot of places. I know that there's programs that teachers are made available to teachers and nobody uses it, And I imagine if we just look at what we're spending our money on, we could identify some areas where we could save some money and spend it more usefully.
Well, we bring a first, second, and adopted budget interim and also unaudited actuals to the board that has our major ranges where we spend dollars in our 1s, 2s, and 3s, 4s, and 5s, our contracts, personnel cost, benefits, and so forth for both classified and certificated employees, materials and supplies, and contracts in our 5s. So what the intent will be during the next cycle of budget presentations is, if it is the will of the board, to have maybe a budget workshop and we can do a little bit more detailed in terms of what the breakout is, because with the expenditures that we're adding on, we probably need to have some conversations about what we want to prioritize. Yep, that's the best way to say that. Yeah. So to your point, we can make something happen like a workshop.
Any other questions, guys? All right, thank you, sir.
I'd just like to add too.
Sure.
These 10 positions, the way they were presented in the PARs that were submitted, were that these are very flexible positions that would not be tied to any location by any means, with approval and agreements with the union. So it would allow for flexibility moving down the road as, demographics change, enrollment changes. Right, I think the district we'd all agree we're at probably an all-time high enrollment-wise. When I started here, we were about 8,700 or so. Dr. Williams was here at that time. And I've watched it grow, and I know it's going to come back down at some point.
So if I can, because I'm seeing some responses, reframe, they would be district-wide positions so that we can move individuals where the need is, instead of siloed in one site. That's what he's speaking of.
Yeah, these are the numbers that reflected on the new positions are only in there as a scenario.
Right.
Nothing's tied to that. Okay, they can, if a decision was made, we need 4 more over here instead of 2 over here, then the flexibility is there.
cover like absences and stuff like that.
Perfect. That's fantastic.
Okay,
Well, thank you for the info. We appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay, board member comments. Mr. Barrios.
Well, got Super Bowl weekend this weekend.
Go Rams.
This hasn't really real big, last couple weeks since we saw each other last, so hopefully everybody can enjoy the weekend and maybe even enjoy the game, and whoever they root for, as long as it's the Rams, it's okay.
All right, Mr. Castaneda.
Yeah, 1 second, I have a 76-page PDF I printed out, and I wanted to read it.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Oh, my mom's calling, my mother's calling, see ya.
My comment does while he's finding it.
Just a couple things. The food, I sort of agree with that. When I was at CSBA, they had all these vendors, and I've been reading a lot about, sometimes people get local food, fresh food, instead of, the food's bad. And let's be honest, I was hearing today, and they were reading out the lunch menu over the speakers, and I said, oh, that sounds really good. And the kids were laughing, and they're like, yeah, it sounds good. But, I think we could get, as a parent, you want the best food for your kids. And I think we can make that happen. It might cost a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to be breaking the bank. So if we could look into some of those, maybe, not for tomorrow, but, looking ahead for next year. And I was a little confused about some of the comments because how many security guards, maybe you can answer this, how many security guards are assigned to Silverado right now?
We currently have 8 assigned, and we've agreed to hire 2 more, so they'll have 10.
So what are they saying, 3 or?
I don't know where the 4 is coming from. We can touch base with them after.
Robert,
I'll be
no.
happy
This is
to
a really
touch
good
base.
chart that Richard and Jackie made that tells you each site, their population and different personnel.
Yeah, no, but some of the comments were saying that we only had 3 or 4 security
Well,
guards.
Robert would know, we could get an answer right now.
It says 8.
Okay,
There
maybe.
was 3 days this year, there was only 3 of us that were at work one day.
Okay.
There are multiple days where there was 4 people at work. Sometimes somebody's out for coaching, that's very rare. Mostly it's, one person's out injured. We have one, unfortunately, that is out almost the whole year due to a significant medical issue. And then we have other people calling off sick, and we have no sub pool to pull from. So there's been days where we have just had 3 people, 4 people, and we just do the best that we can to keep it duct taped together, and it's crazy.
So maybe we could have, like, less absenteeism might help the situation.
We have an incentive.
Hey, that's the holy grail.
Caleb, you once had the idea about roving or a pool of them. That would apply. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, surely we can address some
Yeah,
strategies.
we're going to explore some of those options. A start is that we have agreed, that the board, thank you for adding more staff. So I think they're all appreciative. That makes a difference. And then we can explore some out-of-the-box ideas like roving subs, where, hey, maybe we have a pool of security guards who may be assigned to the district office and deployed as needed if there's high absenteeism.
Yeah, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. That's all I have.
perfect. Thank you. Ms. Dew?
I told you he'd have an answer.
The only thing that, this week I've been working very diligently on our parcels and trying to work on our busing with the superintendent and Antoine. Seeing if we can get it where our area is considered rural. And so they're looking into it. Antoine and Dr. Ron is looking into working on that. Our zoning might be that we are rural enough because we go all the way out. And there's areas that we have within our area that is rural that we might be able to keep our busing the way it is. But we're working on it. And I'm in contact with Sacramento and
right,
making
good
sure
luck.
that we can do
Good.
that. And then the other thing that we're working on is having a device in our rooms that would be with bio capture. We looked at that, and I brought those people in so we could look at that. And it would be something similar to what they're using in the Department of Defense, that keeps the room kind of sanitized or filtered, or isn't that what you picked up from it?
Like a HEPA filter, or?
No, the bio capture that we saw the other day.
Yeah, they were discussing a couple of systems that could filtrate the air with new technology. So
We're checking that
Come back
out
and
to
report
see
on it.
if that would
Sounds
be
good.
something viable that we can use in our school system that would help us with keeping our rooms and everything pretty sanitized. And the other is the rural, trying to get a rural connection for our district so that we can keep our buses the same. So both of us have been working with that as well.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Dew. Ms. Edmondson?
I'm not sure, Ron, maybe you can help me direct this. It was brought to my attention from a parent that the student at one of our sites, and I can discuss with you further which site, was turned away, not allowed to have lunch because they didn't have their student ID card. I know all of our students receive a free lunch and a free breakfast, and there's no other student on campus except students who belong there. And whether they forget their ID card or not, can we ensure that everyone is eating, no matter the quality of the meals? Hopefully it is a good quality meal, but this student was denied a meal.
Yes,
I
we
can
can
tell you
definitely
after.
look into
We
it.
should, we all eat free.
mean,
We
in our
should.
system.
And
Yeah.
they have a code normally they punch in.
Yeah, and I don't know if the
can't
girl
believe it.
didn't know her code, her
Maybe.
ID number, but the father told me this situation. And it is a seventh grader, and I just don't want anyone
A seventh
denied a
grader.
meal.
We might have
I'm
a-
sorry, sir, I'm sorry. And then,
Not everybody gets a
I do
credit.
think that, I know in my elementary district, when we have a substitute teacher, they're given a map and the keys. And when they come back, they return the map and the keys. And I really feel that our security guards should not have to escort and use their time walking a teacher to a classroom to unlock a door, that we can trust our subs, because we trust them with the kids, we can trust them with a key. And we have better use of our security facility.
Let me look into that, and we'll take a look at that and see what we can do.
I appreciate it, thank you, that's all I have. Good luck to whoever your team is.
Yeah, hey, Penny, Penny, I think what they're probably talking about is a lot of time period subs. When teachers are period subs,
Yeah.
you know, they close the door after they leave, so the next person coming has to call security or somebody to get it open.
Yeah.
And that's a headache, and I don't,
Yep.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
But I bet there's a way to figure it out.
And there probably
And
is.
maybe it is the master key suggestion, for that one day being passed off like the Olympic torch until the duty is done. I don't know.
Well, could like the department chairs have a master key? So that way you wouldn't have to go to the security guard, you could go to the teacher, next door and say, hey, can you open it
I
up?
don't know.
We'll explore all possibilities. We'll explore it,
Yeah,
we'll
it's bring us back
troubleshoot
a
it,
suggestion.
we'll come back with
We'll
something.
get some suggestions. Okay, I am good. Happy Super Bowl weekend. Miss Williams. Dr. Williams.
I'm good too.
Fantastic, short and sweet. Okay.
Hallelujah.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wait, are we going back to closed session?
Yes, I need us briefly. I'm sorry.
Okay,
No, you-
so we're going back to closed session.
Okay,
back to
I thought you said we were done.
Motion to go to closed session.
So moved.
Second,
Vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmiston,
yes.
Caleb,
Aye.
Jose, and I vote aye as well. We'll be back. No, it's okay. He's got to get us back live anyways. We're still got a second. Should we actually get out here before 9 o'clock this time?
Would it be hard,
Stand up.
the next meeting, also bring one of these for me? Because I'm gonna put it with this week's notes,
We
but
got
I will
three of
use
us.
this
That's good
again.
enough.
And if we could put in a plastic protective sleeve, I'll just keep it with me for every meeting.
And, can I get a motion to adjourn? I'm
So
sorry,
moved.
I'm sorry. A motion to come back to open
So
session.
moved.
Can I get a second? Okay, I'll second. Can I get a vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Jose? Aye. And then I vote aye. Now I can get a motion to
So
adjourn the
moved.
meeting. Second? All right, let's vote. Ms. Edmondson?
Yes.
And I vote aye.
Aye.
And then Jose, aye. Meeting adjourned.
Somebody's